So in this clip, we're going to see a lone Democrat in a bit of a heated exchange with a host and two conservative guests, where it basically turns into a 3-on-1. But understand that the Democrat is not taking it, and he completely flips the script on everything that it is that they're trying to put across. So much to the point that the Republican host, Katie Pavlich, cuts him off short and ends the interview, not even allowing him to speak. As usual, let's watch the clip in full. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts towards the end.
It's now to discuss Antoine Seawright. He is a Democratic strategist. Joe Pagliarulo, host of the Joe Pag Show. Joe Pags is here. And Nile Gardiner, conservative commentator and former senior advisor to Margaret Thatcher. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here tonight. So, Antoine, let's start with you. Just your response to this report, almost 200 pages long. You're a Democrat. What's your assessment?
I don't think we need this distraction. We have an affordability crisis in America, brought to you and sponsored by your neighborhood Republican Party. You had a Republican congressman just today said that January 6th was all made up. We have a healthcare crisis in this country. I think there are other things we can be talking about as Democrats instead of looking back retrospectively. Now, I always subscribe to the notion two things happen in campaigns: you win or you learn. Obviously, we did not win, so there's some things we can learn, but I don't think this autopsy was the best use of our time, and I certainly don't think it's the best use of a limited oxygen political space.
So, Joe, you know, the rules in politics are if your opponent is doing something that helps you and benefits you, just don't step in the way. What did you think about reading this autopsy and assessment of the DNC, which, by the way, doesn't have any money going into an election year?
Katie, thanks for having me on. I noticed that Antoine, who I respect a lot, didn't say anything about the autopsy. He complained about Republicans. That's kind of interesting. I would have looked at this autopsy and said, wow, they forgot to say that Kamala Harris was a horrible candidate. They forgot to mention that we picked a horrible guy for vice president, the guy who's overseeing, I guess, massive fraud over in Minnesota. So listen, I respect the fact that they tried to come to some conclusion about what happened, but leaving out the cognitive decline of the then president, leaving out the fact that he ran and then he didn't run, and then leaving out the fact that Kamala Harris was a horrendous candidate. She didn't accomplish anything, not the one thing that she was asked to do about the border. So I think that I'm glad that there's a whole lot of nothing here, because I don't think the Democrat Party is going to learn. And Antoine's not wrong. You know, you can pick out what you don't like about the other party if you want, but I think a little deep reflection on the Democratic side would be scary for us conservatives. So go ahead and keep on denying. I like it.
So, Nile, you, of course, worked with one of the greatest leaders of all time, Margaret Thatcher. She was, you know, she always talked about socialism. Socialism's great until you run out of other people's money. What I found in the report and reading through it is that this is the Democratic establishment, right? And we're seeing the Democratic Socialists of America, which is essentially the insurgent wing of the Democratic Party, the Mamdanis, these far-left candidates that we're seeing winning primaries across the country. They really are offering, even though it's incorrect and a terrible form of governance, socialism and communism as a policy prescription for what they're seeing and the issues that Americans are facing out there. So even though they're wrong, are they somewhat correct in actually speaking to the issues rather than what this report does, which is completely ignore everything that Americans voted for in 2024?
Well, I think that without a doubt, I mean, the left in the United States are in complete denial and also disarray. And on both sides of the Atlantic, in fact, we're seeing socialists in real trouble. And in Britain, Keir Starmer, the socialist prime minister, has been an absolute disaster, probably the worst prime minister, I think, in British history. And you are literally seeing the British government fall apart right now. And this is the result of far left policies and ideology. And in the United States, without a doubt, I mean, I think that you know, the Democrats really are suffering from a clear lack of, you know, crystal clear policies and thinking. They are driven by, frankly, Trump derangement syndrome. They're full of, you know, hate, I think, for the president and for anyone who supports him. There's no fresh thinking on the left at all. And also, you had a candidate last time, the presidential election, Kamala Harris, who was a complete disaster, and in fact a real embarrassment in so many respects. And so, you know, the reality is that we are witnessing on both sides of the Atlantic the left in complete and utter disarray. And socialism never works. Right. Socialism frankly just drags countries down and destroys them.
As you said, it's not a new idea. Socialism, communism is not a fresh idea for any society. In fact, it's caused a lot of human suffering in the countries and times when it's been tried and failed. But Antoine, I mean, you call this a distraction. There are pages and pages, and it is distracting. I mean, there's lots of corrections. There are lots of red boxes that say no evidence provided for this. This doesn't consistently support this claim. No sourcing provided. No even conclusion on this report. But how is the Democratic Party supposed to move forward with infrastructure to win in races across the country if they can't get on the same page about what issues matter the most, and they can't even trust the DNC chair to put this out without these edits being made? I mean, do you have confidence in the DNC chair? Or do you think someone else should take over?
Katie, I love how you and your guests try to frame Democrats in disarray when we've outperformed every single narrative since Donald Trump has taken office.
Well, narratives are not wins. So,
well, I can tell you, we have proof in the wins. 30+ elections we've won, including places where Donald Trump won up and down the ballot all over the country. That's not a narrative, that's fact. We've also outperformed the expected showing up of voters all across the country in those elections. That's how we got to where we are in terms of our success. The other thing I say,
we gotta run. Joe, 10 seconds to you.
Listen, I love it. I hope that he continues to be in denial. I would love this. Please run Kamala Harris again in 2028. I would love that. Please pick Tim Walz as the vice president again, because you guys obviously have no issues. It's all about the Republicans.
All right, y'all, we got to run. We will talk about this from now until November. Appreciate all of you for joining me tonight. Thank you very much. Good to see you.
Guys, did you guys notice that Katie Pavlich, she realized she effed up with that comment? She realized narratives are not wins, because you saw Antoine was about to start to reel off the list of wins that Dems have had over Republicans since Donald Trump came back into office. Did you guys see it? And what did she do? The Katie Pavlich special. End the interview early. Cut the person speaking short, because it's the only thing that she can do. Because of the fact that she cannot debate and she cannot back up her points that it is that she makes, what does she do instead? She just cuts the interview short. This is your modern day Republican. This is the reason why you see Republicans aren't even turning up to town halls. They're not. They're not having town halls with their constituents. Why? Because guess what? They have no arguments. They have no points. Now, the funny thing is this. The individual who spoke last, I believe his name was Joe Pags. Joe Pags said himself that they want Dems, to run Kamala Harris again and be in denial. The reason why they want Dems to do that is because guess what? They know that's the only way that they can win. Republicans know that everything that's happening right now at the moment, they are heading towards an absolute landslide, and they know it. It's the truth, and they cannot dispute it in any way, shape, or form. And they know it. They absolutely know it without a shadow of a doubt. The fact that it is that Joe Pags even said himself that if Dems were to actually do a bit of self-reflection, it would be scary for us conservatives. Because this is the thing. Right now, conservatives are ruining themselves. The moment the Democratic Party actually get it right and they course correct, Republicans probably won't be back in office ever again. Because what Donald Trump has demonstrated in his tenure this time in office is corruption, is focusing on the wealthy, is Israel first, and nothing about America first. That is exactly what this is. And it's just so funny to me that Katie Pavlich thought this was going to be a slam dunk of a conversation. Why? Because of the fact that the autopsy frames Dems in a negative light. But what she didn't understand is that Antoine Seawright is someone who knows his stuff and was coming with the facts to completely shut her down. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this exchange in the comment section below. As usual, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, hype up the video, and turn on the bell notification. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next clip.